Hello and welcome back to Misc, the podcast recorded when I have time with whoever has the time, which today is still just myself. So I have been busy recently with vending machines. I have been looking into more and more machines and trying to see if this is a good side business. I have a few currently, and they are proving beneficial. They're not, raking in thousands of dollars a week or anything, but they're also paying for themselves. They're doing decently well. I'm looking to potentially add more than what I currently have, but I also don't want to get too far in over my head. I mean, it's a lot with this and my other hobbies, we'll say, that I'm involved with, one of which, well, I don't even know if you can really call it a hobby. I like baseball. I wish I had more time to make it to the batting cage and go watch games and, just play in general. I would love to have like an office softball team or something, because there's no way that they would play baseball. But I would love that so much. But just finding time for it. But with the vending machines, it's been a fun endeavor. Just, I clock out for the day. I run out. I, restock. I collect cash, just general problem solving. It's been a very enjoyable thing. It's been asked of me to record my collections and restockings. Whether or not I actually end up doing that is a separate story, but I would like to. I would like to try. I don't know. It's like we see all the time. There's these, I think Investment Joy, I think that's his name over on YouTube. He does a lot of collections for his laundromat thing, but I mean, even him, as successful as he is on YouTube, is still talking about closing up shop and moving elsewhere because of the impact that having this presence in his community has. Like, I don't deal with the same things he does. No one comes in and smashes up my machines, or at least they haven't yet. I really hope they don't. But at the same time, if I get more, that's something I'm going to have to eventually deal with, is someone stealing or abusing or taking advantage, or however you want to put it. I don't know if I really want to have that. I would love to have a brick and mortar store at some point. My significant other would love to do that as well. I don't know. There's a lot going on in the world about people just don't care anymore. It used to be, if there's a mom and pop shop, you'd want to support them and you'd be okay paying a little more, or okay, going out of your way to get there. And now it's just people would rather go to Walmart with the rewards cards and big sales, and they don't care about that stuff anymore. And the people that do go to those mom and pop shops a lot of times are looking to take advantage. So it's kind of scary on that front too. But yeah, I mean, I'm not doing this as any sort of investment, I'll say. I'm not buying these machines with the expectation that they're going to be my retirement plan, but I am buying with the intention to make some money off of them. And so far it's proving profitable so far. I've not made my money back on the cost of the machines, but they should pay for themselves in, I think, total of about 8 months of being in the field, which is great. I've seen a lot of stuff online where people shoot for like a 2-year mark to have the machines pay for themselves, and I'm looking at being profitable and paid for within 8 months. I mean, currently they are bringing in more money than they are actively taking to maintain, which is, a huge goal in and of itself. And, just very grateful that I have this opportunity, and that is working out decently. Maybe I'll do those collection videos and restocking videos. I don't know. I won't post them here. They'll be elsewhere on the YouTubes if I end up doing that. So that would be cool. I just don't know how that's going to work out exactly. We'll have to see. But yeah, it's so satisfying watching those videos, though. Just the people collecting their cash or whatever and counting it and restocking the machines. And I love seeing how things work and seeing what goes into them. I just got a change machine, so you put in $1, it spits out coins, and learning about the different kinds of machines, the ones that count each coin, the ones that have a mechanism that deposits, whole dollars or $5 at a time or whatever. It's really cool seeing how those work and seeing how they take the bills in. And I love so much. I wish that bill acceptors were clear so you could see them come in and like put them into their little slot. Like, it's such a satisfying thing taking out all those flat bills, because like you go to a vending machine and you flatten it on the side of the machine, you put it in there, and it takes this crumpled up torn bill, and you're like, what's it do with that? Is it just like go into a bucket? What's it do? Like, they have these on the insides of the machines, it's a box, a spring-loaded box, and it just deposits them so nicely and evenly down in the front and then squishes them just with the pressure of a spring. And they just are so perfect. You take them out, they're flat, they're not crumpled at all. I don't know how it does it exactly because you can't see it. I mean, it seems like a simple enough mechanism, but it's just really cool to me to see. But then you get older machines, like my change machine, that you put $1 in and there is nothing behind it. It just goes into a void. So like the top half of the machine is just a shelf that dollars fall onto. It's just the funniest thing to me that it just like, that's the old way of doing it. All you need to do is validate that it is a valid dollar bill. You don't need to like collect it in anything. And that used to be the old way of looking at it is, if it was the right size and shape, then generally it's the right thing because people aren't going to try to scam. So, if this were in an area where I was concerned with people feeding it like counterfeit bills or something, I don't see that being a problem with where these machines are going. And I know the people in these businesses. So for the most part, not a concern for me. But it's just funny. Like, I'm really curious if I could get away with like putting like dollar-sized paper in there or like movie money, if it would take it too. I think it is a genuine bill validator. I don't think that it will just spit out coins for anything that goes in it. But that used to be how some of the machines would work, is just, coin go in, coin is correct size, coin makes machine work, very analog. But even this is just, it just goes into the void, and it just is very funny. Oh, and the mechanism's like a doom, like it's so, it startled the heck out of me the first time I heard it. It's very, very sudden and loud, and it's louder than the coins falling out of the slot. I don't know. I find this stuff so cool to watch it work. It's enjoyable. It's been a fun hobby, learning about the vending business and, keeping the machine stocked, and honestly trying to find someone that can do the stocking for me. Because if somebody can keep the machines filled and occasionally do a cash collection for me, and, we're good there, that would be so much better. Because again, I'm not doing it for the big money that's involved in this. I would rather it be a benefit to the employees and give me some money, but like, not that big of a deal. So if every, couple of weeks I get a, $100 or so out of it, awesome. As long as it's not costing me money, it's making more than it's cost, then, I'm good for the most part. But yeah, no, it's been fun. And, that's been a fun hobby of mine, is the vending machine side of things. Another cool thing I'm into, if you want to call it that, like what do they call them? Like just the satisfying videos, just they scratches that itch. It is drainage videos, like not like the pimple popping and stuff. That stuff, some of it I can do. That stuff grosses me out for the most part. Dermatologists just couldn't do your job. Keep it behind closed doors. But the drainage, like a yard drainage, Publix, not sewage, but like city water, groundwater, is so incredibly satisfying to watch. And I love so much seeing people go. Post 10, love his videos so much, where he goes out with a simple rake and he clears drains, he clears roadways. And it's just so satisfying to watch the water flow. It's just such a peaceful thing. It's the same reason why I like aquariums. Like, you just get to watch this closed ecosystem do its thing. It's just peaceful. The sounds, the visuals is so enjoyable. I love aquariums. I love flowing water. It's calming. I don't know anyone who can look at just a nice trickling stream and not be calmed by it. Like, unless you have a fear of water, it's a calming thing. And I just, yeah, no, his videos are great. Post 10's great. Who's the other one? Apple Solutions. I can't remember his name. Apple Drain Solutions. I think he's up in Ohio, but he's pretty satisfying to watch too. Like, he just talks you through everything, and they dig their trenches, they go in the crawl spaces, they do a little bit of everything, and it's so satisfying watching these wet yards. And I have drainage problems at my house. I need to solve the problems, and I actually had an epiphany yesterday, actually, to how to solve my problems, because I was worried about having to tunnel under sidewalks and do something in my driveway, and I was concerned with how I was getting the water from one place to another. And then it occurred to me, why am I going out to the street? I have a drain behind my home. Why not just go to there? There's no sidewalks. I can just do that. So I'm going to work on resolving that and getting my sump in my crawl space. And there's a lot of little things I need to fix. There's so much I got to do at the house. But that's not the point. It's just such a satisfying thing to watch it be done. And it makes me want to do it so bad. But it's just, again, finding the time. Like, I was just talking about my hobbies and things I like to do. Gardening. I'll be opening my garden here soon. It's almost that time of year. I mean, really, it is the time of year to start some things like your pumpkins and watermelons. You really want to get in the ground now, get them started at least, get the sprouts going. I really need to take a look at that. But it's getting that time of year, and I spend a lot of time in the garden and working on. My end goal for it is I want to produce more than I purchase from the store. I want to produce enough wheat, enough corn, enough, I'd love to produce eggs, but raising chickens, again, is a whole separate time sink, and my locality actually doesn't allow me to have any animals at all, so that's complicated in and of itself, but we'll see if I can get a buddy that is able to do that part for me. I can have bees, which is odd. That I would think they're more of a nuisance than chickens or pigs would be, but that's besides the point. I would love to produce enough tomatoes, produce enough wheat, enough corn, enough cucumbers, enough peppers, celery, broccoli, lettuce. Those are the kinds of things that I grow. Cantaloupe. And I would love to produce enough that what I buy from the store of those items is less than what I grow. So for a year, if I go through 10 loaves of bread, we don't need a lot of bread. I think 10 is kind of a large amount for us. I don't think we eat 10. But if I could make, a loaf a month, that would be plenty for us. A loaf of bread a month is more than the highest number I think we have ever purchased. I don't think we've purchased 10 loaves of bread in a year, which is kind of weird to frame it like that, but we just don't eat a lot of bread. We really don't. We eat a ton of chicken. We eat a decent bit of turkey meat. A lot of vegetables, not as much as we should, but that's part of it is, what we grow, we tend to eat more. So like when I grow a large amount of lettuce, we'll chop that down, and from May through September, October, we have fresh lettuce, and we eat a ton of lettuce. And my dad loves to go back and pick tomatoes and chow down on some tomatoes, and it's just very nice to have thing. I would love to have peach and pear trees as well. That's, again, time, finding time to do it. That's the focus of this episode, is time. I mean, it's always, I think I harped on it in a previous episode, but just finding the time to do things that you want to do, and making sure that what you do is worth your time. You don't owe anybody except yourself and your family your time. And that's really the end goal of it, is having enough time to do anything and everything that we would like to do. Just, it takes a lot. And so, as we know, this is recorded, usually as I drive, is when I record these. Because it's free time. It's, I'm just doing nothing. I hate wasting the time. And I was just harping on time. But speaking of time, the timing of that text message was awful. Someone just texted me, and it activated CarPlay, which led to my microphone, or my recording software, ceasing to record. So I don't know exactly when that cut off, but that I've been curious how that would work if I got a phone call or something. So, it's good to know that it will just stop the recording. Did not know that's how that worked. But interesting. I really hope that this is a good use of my time. That's kind of what I was getting at before, is I hope that I'm not wasting this time and effort. I used to try to learn languages while I drove, just listening to different things, and I used to try to listen to podcasts, and I still do that heavily. I've tried music, I've tried silence, I've tried phone calls, I've tried managing emails and stuff with Siri, and it never is easy. It's never a good use of time. It's a sink. It's such a sink of just waste trying to manage this driving. I mean, I've said before, I'm in the car more than 2 hours a day. That's a lot of commuting. And it's just trying to make sure that it's well used. So I'm curious if anyone else has a similarly long commute, or if driving is a good part of your day-to-day, income. Are you a truck driver? Are you an Amazon van driver, Uber driver, delivery driver? I mean, there's all sorts of professions that require you to be in a car, and a lot of people don't even think about, like the spectrum technicians, the cable techs, plumbers, electricians, the people that get in their vans and drive, 20, 30, 40 miles to and from job sites all day long. That's a lot of time in a car. Are you spending that time the way you want to? I mean, that's one thing too about self-driving cars that is such a nice thought, is being able to be in a car and being able to do other things, even if it's just relaxing, being able to do something else with your time other than waste it, because that's what it feels like. Like, I know it's not, because I'm going somewhere to make money, which then supports, me and my family, my way of life. That's one way to look at it. But it's also, I could do the same thing closer to home. I could do the same thing remotely. I could do the same thing at a different job. I could, any number of ways you could phrase it. I can still find a job where I don't have to do this. But I like my job. I like the people I work with, and I'm very fortunate to be in the position that I'm in. So I find it really hard to complain, but it's also completely justified to want that time to be recaptured. And I don't want to say that I've wasted in the past and I want the time back, or I regret my decisions of quote unquote wasting that time. But it's more of, I want to make sure moving forward, now that I've realized that this is my feelings on this topic, that I'm doing the best that I can with what I'm able to do. I can't sit here and text or Teams or Discord or email. There's a limitation to what I can do there. I can't really communicate with people other than phone calls or whatever limited actions I could take with Siri, which I've learned a lot about. You can do a lot with it, but it's not the same, and it's not as productive, and it becomes frustrating at times when, I just want to further a conversation and I have to sit there and wait. But at least with this, I'm further justifying I can't respond to that now. I can't act on whatever that is now, but I can do this. I can get my thoughts out. I can keep this sort of diary of a podcast, and track my thoughts and feelings, and hopefully be there to entertain someone else on their drive who doesn't have the ability or care to record this themselves. And just be enjoyable. Like I said, if I get one person that listens to this and is like, hey, this, I want to join in on that, I want to be on a call for that, I want to do whatever, or, just enjoys the ride, that's fine. That's perfectly good by me. if this stays buried for a decade and gets found, in 10 years and someone's like, this guy's got a few thousand videos he's recorded and uploaded, sure, I'll just throw those on the morning drive, and why not? It'd be fun. Anyways, that's enough harping on time. I think the point's been brought across. If anyone else has any input, leave it down below, and I'll try to see if we can relate. Or if you want to hop on a call too, just leave your Discord down below, and we can give that a shot. I'd love to just talk to someone and just see what other people go through and other people's perspective on things. Especially, if you're complete opposite of me and say, no, that's, I love the silence. I love sitting there and having nothing to do and just, drive, it's relaxing, whatever, because I did used to view it like that too. Love to hear those thoughts. On the docket today, I need to pick up a cash register. That is my goal today, is to pick up a cash register. I think I have found one. I found one before that I really liked, but I got stood up. The person never showed, and that really sucked. And I really hated that they did that, and wasted about an hour and a half of my time. It was a long drive, and by the time I got there and messaged, they stopped replying, and I was like, dude, this is just wrong. I was getting a deal on it, but I was coming to them. I don't know. That's why I don't trust to send people money before I meet them. I will never. And if you're on Marketplace, eBay, whatever, do not ever send the person the money. If there's a fee to go look at the thing, if it's whatever, don't do it. It's not worth it. It's a scam. You are going to lose money. Just don't do it. Now, if when you get there, there's, a test drive fee, or they want you to fill it up with gas or whatever, that's different. Never, ever, ever, ever send someone payment information or payment of any kind prior to physically seeing the thing in person. Just don't do it, and do not give them the money until you have the item. It's just, don't get scammed. Stay safe out there. But anyways, my goal today is to pick up a cash register similar to the one that I was going to get the other day. The only difference being this one doesn't have mounting brackets that I was needing, so I'll have to get something to retrofit it into where I'm putting it. So that'll be a separate. Actually, I think this one is actually slightly larger than the original one I looked at, now that I think about it. And I do think I like it better. It just doesn't have the brackets I was needing, so I will have to figure that out. But that's not a big deal. I can have one of my welding buddies, shot me up something and be good to go there. So that's, kind of not a big deal. We'll see about that. But that's part one. Part two, I need a haircut bad. Normally I will shave my head myself, and by shave I just mean like buzz, put the smallest clipper I can on for there to still be hair and just run it through my hair. I got used to doing that for a while. My fiance asked for me to not do that anymore, and she started cutting my hair, but it's just finding time to do that as well. When I have time, she doesn't, or when she has time, I don't, or sometimes when we both have time, we're just downright tired and want to relax, and an hour of hair cutting, because it does take a good bit. She's not a beautician. She doesn't do it for a living. It takes her time to do it and feel good about doing it. So, it's not the quickest thing in the world. But I mean, I've gone 2, maybe 3 years without a haircut. It's been good. I've got one haircut prior to that time, and then before that it was another 2 or 3 years probably. I hate wasting money on cutting hair. I don't like it. I don't like that. Actually, it might have been 4 years and then 2 years prior to that. So 6 years ago, 7 years ago, I was getting regular haircuts. But yeah, I can't stand it. So I stopped doing that, and then I went and got one haircut after like a 2-year hiatus, and now it's been about 4 years since I have actually gone to a place to have a haircut. I just can't stand it. It's a waste of money to me. I'm not saying that their job is not of value. It's incredibly of value. Doing it and doing it properly is such a skill. And it takes practice, it takes time and effort. Not everyone can do it, and it is a great service. That is not my problem with it. My problem with it is I don't care enough about my hair, which is why I was just buzzing at myself. And it just doesn't matter to me if I just decide to not do it. I don't care. I'll let my hair grow out. I'll buzz my hair. Not a big deal to me, but it was a big deal to other people in my life. And when she specifically asked me to stop doing that, she wanted to do it herself. That's fine. Not a problem. But, now it's an inconvenience to her to sit down and do it. So I will go get a cut today. That is my goal, is to get the cash register, get my hair cut, grab some lunch, and then clean. We're going to clean tonight. We're going to clean the house. We need so desperately to mop the floors with all the rain we've had. The dogs make it so muddy inside. It's such a struggle. One of our dogs is just, every time you pet her, it's just a dust cloud just poofs up in the air, and it's so infuriating because it doesn't matter how many times we try to bathe her or keep her out of the mud. She just finds it and stays muddy. It's been so rainy here, just trying to keep everything clean. That's why I need to fix drainage in the yard too, because if I get the mud out of the yard and I fence off some of the areas, then they can't get muddy all the time, and then we can go back to the days where I can cuddle with the dog in the bed and it be fine and not be a mess. It's so frustrating. The mess is so frustrating. I'm real bad too. I hate trash. I hate throwing things away. Part of it's the OCD inside of me that, like, I had a thing when I was a kid where people basically convinced me that throwing things away was bad, and my mom has a lot of hoarding tendencies, which she's corrected in more recent years, but I have grown up with the same tendencies. So in general, stuff collects for me. I just have stuff. I have a lot of collections. I have a lot of things that's hard to get rid of. And even besides that, I hate throwing things in the trash. So if I can find other use for things, I try to do that. So empty cans, empty bottles, empty, wiper washer fluid jugs, those kinds of things, I try to repurpose them. And cardboard, I hate throwing cardboard away. I try to burn it. I try to repurpose. I try to use it as compost. I do try to do a lot of composting and other things other than putting stuff in a landfill when I can. Metals, plastics that can be reused, paper stuff, and food waste, I try to avoid putting into the garbage. And I try my best to reduce the amount that we put in the garbage. Because if you look at like all the boxes and paper trash people get, the junk mail, anything that doesn't have ink on it, anything that's not colored paper or cardboard, you can compost. You can dig a hole in your yard, throw this stuff in it. Now it needs to be, if it's a hole, it needs to be a little bit above grade, so that way water doesn't settle in it as easy. And you can cover it in some way so water runs off of it. That's super important because water kills compost. You want the bacteria to be able to flourish. You don't want the bacteria to rot. There's good and bad bacteria. You want the bacteria that will break down, not the bacteria that will rot and smell. So if you dig a little bit of a hole or get a barrel and just pile the stuff in, put some good dirt on it, just a little bit, and just mix it and turn it every, 4 or 5 days, once a week, a couple times a month. It doesn't take a lot. You throw the stuff in there, you mulch it up, you let it rotate, throw some food waste in there, let it rotate. I think you typically want to avoid meats. Don't do meats, but like egg and stuff, fish and stuff is usually fine. As long as you have a good warm compost pile, because it will heat up as a compost as part of the process. As long as you have a good warm compost pile and put that stuff in there, it's not going to smell. It's going to break down before it smells. As long as it stays well ventilated, well turned, you'll be fine. And you'll reduce a lot of the waste you do. And then with the colored papers, a lot of the stuff you can burn. And if you do it in a burn barrel or you do it in a way that's able to get a lot of oxygen to it, it will burn very cleanly. And you don't get a lot of smoke. You don't get a lot of pollutants. Now, you don't want to cook over it or anything. You don't want to roast marshmallows. But, you can have an enjoyable fire as long as you've got something to keep the ash and stuff down. That's a whole separate conversation. But you can burn up a lot of the stuff if your localities permit it, and you don't have to throw it in the trash. Because what it's going to do is it's going to go to a landfill. It's going to get mulched up with all the other trash. It's going to get wet. It's going to sit there, and it's going to rot. It's going to go to waste. And once you burn the stuff and it turns to ash, it's gone. You don't have to worry about the pollutants for the environment. If it did have plastic and stuff, as long as you did not inhale it, for the most part, it will be fine. It reduces your waste and your reliance on, city waste management. And I think in the long run, in my opinion, that is a good way to reduce your wasteful impact on your environment. That's one of the many things I try to do is burning the paper products and composting paper products that I can. Also, if you have a garden and you have a path in the garden, laying down like brown, thicker cardboard boxes, not Amazon like the painted ones, for example, but like the plain Amazon brown ones, that just have the black paint on them. Usually that ink isn't ink. It's either toner or it's scorched, or it's scorched into the box in some way with a thermal printer, and it is perfectly fine to burn. Or it's scorched into the box and is perfectly fine to compost. And when you lay it down, it will literally act as mulch. It will keep the soil shaded and cool. It will break down very, very slowly over time, and it will be good nutrients for your garden. It's good ground cover, and it is a good use of an otherwise waste of materials. What else are you going to do with it besides burning it or throwing it in the trash? I mean, even if you put it in the recycle, a lot of times, especially pizza boxes, they put all this ink all over them. Papa John's is really, really bad about it. They cover it in this green and white ink, which results in you being unable to do anything with that box. You can't compost it. You can burn it, but it's got a bunch of glues and stuff in it. But that's also why you can't recycle it, because it's got all these glues in it. And a lot of the newer style restaurants are going to plain brown or simple design boxes that are folded and not glued, and they are made of a corrugated material that is it is done with a glueless corrugator, which allows the strength of the cardboard to be the same as that with glue, but it also is able to be recycled. And that's the much more sustainable way of doing that. But a lot of places don't do that, and it's a problem, and it's really bad, and it sucks. And that's just any ways that you can reduce your impact is awesome. I do a lot more, but I guess that's for another recording down the road. Man, there's been a lot of police out the past few days, and I really wonder what it's been for. I've noticed on my drive to and from work that there's been, a few dozen officers every day, and I don't know if there's this event coming up. If I'm forgetting about something locally, I don't know. But anyways, that's all I've got time for. I'm trying to keep these, 30 to 45 minutes is the goal. So I'll stop rambling, and I'll let you go. So hopefully you've had a good morning, afternoon, or evening, whenever you've been listening to this. But thank you so much for your time, and hope you have a great day. And I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.